The divorce from Karen wasn't easy. 15 years of marriage ended quietly. Without scandals, we just became strangers. There was nothing to divide. We had no children, and I left the apartment to her. What I missed most wasn't my wife, but the family dinners at Patricia's, my mother-in-law's. She knew how to create that special, cozy atmosphere I had missed so much in my childhood. "Steve?" A familiar voice pulled me from my thoughts. I was sitting in my favorite coffee shop, and there at the counter stood she, Patricia. What a surprise! She smiled that same smile that had always warmed my soul. "Would you like to sit?" I gestured to the empty chair. "Of course, and let's use you. We're not relatives anymore." At 53, she looked amazing. Elegant haircut, stylish suit, lively brown eyes. "How are you?" she asked, stirring her cappuccino. "Fine, working a lot." "You're lying." She could always see right through me. "Your eyes are sad." "And yours?" I changed the subject. "I've learned to live alone. It's been 10 years since the divorce from George." "I know, Karen said you never remarried." "Why should I?" She shrugged. "To pretend to be happy again?" There was such bitter truth in her words that I involuntarily shuddered. "You know," she suddenly looked straight into my eyes, "I always thought you and Karen weren't right for each other." "Why?" "Because you're like me. The same, searching for something more." I froze with the cup at my lips. "You noticed that?" "Of course. Remember those evenings when we talked about art while Karen watched her TV shows?" "I remember." "That's when I understood you're different, like me." We sat in the cafe for 3 hours, talked about everything. Books, travels, unfulfilled dreams. "Let's meet again," I suggested as we were saying goodbye. "Why?" She smiled mischievously. "Just to talk." "All right, but don't tell Karen." "Why?" "Because a daughter won't understand why her mother is meeting with her ex-son-in-law." I watched her leave and wondered, why hadn't I noticed all these years how beautiful she was? We started meeting every week, first at cafes, then she invited me to her home. "Tired of public places," she said. "Besides, my coffee is better." In her house, everything remained the same. The same paintings on the walls, the same smell of cinnamon and vanilla. Only now we were alone. "Remember when you first came here with Karen?" she asked, pouring wine. Of course, I was terribly nervous. And I thought, what an interesting young man. Not at all like Karen's usual boyfriends. "Really?" "Yes, there was some depth in you, which she lacked." We sat in her cozy living room talking for hours about the past, the present, unfulfilled dreams. "You know," she said one day, "I always wanted to open an art gallery." "Why didn't you?" "George thought it was foolish, and then it was too late." "It's never too late." She looked at me in a special way. "Do you really believe that?" "In you, I do." Patricia knew how to listen, not just nod, but really hear. With her, I could talk about things I never discussed with Karen. "Sometimes I think," I confessed once, "that I've lived my whole life meeting others' expectations." "Including mine." "No, with you I was always myself." She often cooked dinner, simple but elegant. We drank wine, listened to jazz. "Do you dance?" she asked one evening. "Not very well." "That's not true. I saw you dancing at the wedding." She turned on a slow song. We swayed around the living room. "You know," she whispered, "I feel guilty." "Why?" "Because I feel too good with you." Her hair smelled of jasmine. Her hands rested on my shoulders so naturally, as if they had always belonged there. "Patricia." "Don't." She pressed a finger to my lips. "Let's just dance." But we both felt something was changing. Every glance, every accidental touch was filled with new meaning. "I should go," I said when the clock struck 11. "Of course." She walked me to the door. "Come next Friday?" "Definitely." In the car, I caught myself thinking, I didn't just want to come. I wanted to stay. That evening started as usual. Patricia prepared dinner, opened wine. But something was different. Some electricity in the air. "You're quiet today," she noticed. "Thinking?" "About what?" "About us." She froze with the wine glass in her hand. "Is there an us?" "You know there is." Patricia stood up, walked to the window. In the evening light, her profile looked especially elegant. "Steve, we can't." "Why?" "Because I'm your ex-wife's mother. Because I'm older. Because you're afraid." She turned around. "Aren't you?" I approached her. She smelled of jasmine and wine. "I am," I admitted. "But I'm more afraid of losing what has developed between us." "And what has developed between us?" Instead of answering, I touched her cheek. She closed her eyes. "We've gone mad." she whispered. Probably. Her lips were soft, with a taste of wine. Her hands trembled when she wrapped them around my neck. Time stopped. Moonlight flooded the room, turning everything to silver. Her skin glowed in this light. The silk of her dress flowed under my fingers. Every touch was like an electric shock. "Steve," her voice trembled. "We shouldn't—" "Shh," I kissed her again. "Just feel—" We gave in to passion. In the silence, only our breathing and distant music from neighbors could be heard. Her touches drove me crazy, my fingers tangled in her hair. We woke at dawn. She lay with her head on my chest. "What are you thinking about?" I asked. "About what happens in the morning." "It is morning." "You know what I mean." I lifted her chin. "Do you regret it?" "No," she kissed my palm. "And that's what scares me most." "Why?" "Because at my age, you're not supposed to be this happy." The following months were like a sweet dream. We met almost every evening, making up ridiculous excuses for acquaintances. "Painting classes," Patricia told her friends. "Late meetings," I explained to colleagues. But in reality, we just loved, cooked dinners together, watched old movies, made passionate love by candlelight. "You know," she said one morning, "I've never felt so alive." "Even in your youth?" "Especially in youth. Then everything was proper, according to plan. But now? Now I feel like myself." Her apartment became our sanctuary. Here we could be ourselves, not pretend, not explain. "Move in with me," I suggested one day. "What will people say? Don't we not care?" She pondered. "You know what's most surprising? I really don't care." We became more careful about appearing together in public. But sometimes we allowed ourselves small pleasures. Dinner at a restaurant on the other side of town, walks in the park. "Look!" She pointed at an elderly couple holding hands. "Do you think we'll be like that?" "Definitely, only you won't look your age." "Flatterer," she kissed me. In the evenings, we made plans. "Let's open your gallery," I suggested. "I have savings." "Are you serious?" "Absolutely. It's what you dreamed of." "And you? What do you dream of?" "It's already come true." I pulled her close. "You're my dream." We seemed made for each other. Each time we made love, it was like the first time, exciting, tender, passionate. "Sometimes I'm afraid to wake up," she confessed after a particularly passionate night. "What if this is all a dream? Then I don't want to wake up." But reality reminded us of itself unexpectedly. A phone call shattered the morning silence. "Mom?" Karen's voice. "I'm coming this weekend. We need to talk." We exchanged glances. Our little paradise was under threat. Karen arrived on Saturday. I, of course, shouldn't have been at Patricia's, but neither of us could sleep all night. "Did something happen?" Patricia asked when her daughter entered the house. "You're asking?" Karen held a phone in her hands. "Explain this to me." On the screen was a photo, Patricia and I kissing in the park. "Who sent it?" Patricia's voice trembled. "Susan saw you. God, Mom, Steve, what are you doing here?" I came out from the kitchen. "I think we all need to talk." "Talk?" Karen laughed hysterically. "About what? About how my mother is sleeping with my ex-husband?" "Karen!" Patricia stepped toward her daughter. "Listen." "No, you listen. How long has this been going on? Maybe even when we were married." "No," we answered simultaneously. "It started recently," I tried to explain. "We didn't plan." "Shut up, just shut up." Karen sank into an armchair. "Mom, how could you? You know how I suffered after the divorce." "I know," Patricia sat beside her. "And I never wanted to cause you pain, but I love him." "Love?" Karen looked at her mother. "Do you even understand how that sounds?" "I do, and I know it's wrong, strange, even crazy, but it's true." I went to Patricia, took her hand. "We didn't want you to find out like this." "And how did you want me to? By sending a wedding invitation?" "Karen," Patricia squeezed my hand, "you have every right to be angry, but for the first time in many years, I'm happy, truly happy." A heavy silence fell in the room. "You know what?" Karen stood up. "Do what you want. But don't expect me to accept this. And don't expect me to come for Thanksgiving." She left, slamming the door. Patricia burst into tears. "Maybe I should go?" I asked. "No," she wiped her tears. "Not you, anything but that." After Karen left, our secret became public knowledge. Phones were ringing off the hook with calls from concerned friends. "Patricia, are you out of your mind? He's younger than you." Her friend Jane was outraged. "Steve, she's your ex-mother-in-law." My brother shook his head. But the more people condemned us, the more we realized we couldn't be without each other. You know, Patricia said one evening, I'm tired of hiding. Me too. Let's just be together, openly, let people say what they want. That same evening, I moved my things to her place. We started looking for space for the gallery. Here, I pointed to an old store downtown. Perfect location. You think it'll work? With you, everything will work. Karen didn't speak to us for 2 months, then unexpectedly called, Mom, I met someone. Really? Tell me. He's older than me, much older. Patricia laughed. Life has a way of surprising us, doesn't it? Yes, I'm sorry for everything. And I'm sorry, too. The whole family came to the gallery opening, even Karen with her new boyfriend. Congratulations, she hugged her mother, then turned to me. Take care of her. I promise. In the evening, when everyone had left, we remained alone among the paintings. Any regrets? I asked. About what? Everything. Us. Patricia pressed against me. You know what's beautiful about a second chance? You know exactly what you want. And what do you want? You, us, this gallery, all this crazy beautiful life. We danced among the paintings to music in our heads. Her hair smelled of jasmine, like that first evening. Marry me, I whispered. What? Let's get married. To hell with conventions. She froze. Are you serious? Absolutely. I love you, Patricia, and I want to wake up with you every morning for the rest of my life. Even when I'm old? You'll never be old, just wiser and more beautiful. She kissed me. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Outside, the sunset was fading, painting the artwork into golden hues. A new life was just beginning. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.